Very good. So we'll get started here. I appreciate everybody coming to the Paladin webinar presentation series, Biz Coach webinars. My name is Charles Owen, and I have been with the company about 9 years. I manage business alliances, and I get the privilege of doing these webinars every once in a while, and I really enjoy it. I hope you do as well. I hope you learn something from these. Today's webinar is on messaging. So messages that you can put both on the receipts and on the display screen of your signature capture device. Heard it through the grapevine is the title, and the description is Paladin Point of Sale provides a variety of unique ways to help you pass on important information to customers, learn how to display your message on a signature pad, paper receipts, etc., to promote just about anything. It's a great way to remind customers that you're awesome and nudge them into coming back to see you. That is the description of the title today. I am going to be running this solo today, so I'll be looking for your questions, and I'll be able to address those questions. All you have to do is click on the questions box and pose a question that I or everybody will see. And you are all in mute mode right now, but I can certainly unmute you if you want to speak. Just let me know in the question, and or I can just answer that to the group, answer your questions that you type in the text box. All right, so I am recording this right now, so we can go ahead and get started. If you have to bug out, or if you're not able to make this entire presentation, which should not last more than 20 minutes, this is kind of a short one, then you can always go back to Paladin Point of Sale and view it on the webinars. All right, and that would be, it's accessible through your application under the Help button, and or you can just go into portal.paladinpos.com/webinars. I believe it'll take you there as well. Very good. So let's get started. As far as the topics that we're going to cover today, we're going to talk about the goals of this presentation, what messages can do for your store, the different message types, such as product level messages, receipt messages, signature messages by class, and also tax exempt messages. I will be showing how to set up each one of these. I won't be going into the Paladin application, but I've got screenshots that will take you through the application as though we were going into that. And then we'll talk about learn more, the different areas you can go to learn more about these features, and then also we'll talk about what's coming up next week. So the goals are simple, right? The goals for this are to learn when to apply messages, when to apply them on the receipts, and where to apply them, where you can go to apply them, how to apply them, so how are you going to go about adding the messages, and then more importantly, or most importantly, why to apply messages. There's a number of reasons, and we're going to jump into this screen here, which talks about what messages can do for your store. There is a number of different opportunities you have with posting messages or posting messages on your receipts and on the signature capture device. One is, most important, is upsell products and services. So if there's a number of ways that you can increase your customer spend, right? Impulse items, maybe making your customers walk down a lane where they have to go through a bunch of items like they do at a number of the large department stores. You know, but if you can put a message on there that can be both for the customer but also the cashier. So you can do something like on PVC fittings. You might want to put in a second description or in a note section of that inventory item, say, you know, requires PVC glue and primer. And it kind of prompts the cashier to say, oh, I notice that you don't have any glue and primer. Do you want to add those? And they might have some down below. There's a number of items where you can do an association, a product association, and that can be and show up right on the invoice screen as well as on the receipt. If you're able to increase your customer spend by $1, and let's say you have 100 different people coming to your store a day, that's, you know, hopefully conservative, but 100. that would be $100 a day times, let's say, 360. That's $36,000 a year extra. Now that's a pretty good amount, considering NRHA says that the average 5,000 square foot store with an average transaction amount of about $21 gets a net profit annually of about $33,000. So this would more than double it, just upping that spend, that customer spend, by $1. There's a number of different things that you can do to help coax your customers to buy more products, and also, you're not just getting them to buy more products, you're providing more services to them so that they don't have to be inconvenienced and maybe come back to the store if they forget something they need if they're buying a certain product. So huge advantage to that. And if you can double your annual net profit just by adding $1 to each customer spend, that's a big advantage. So I can show you how to do that. Next, you can broadcast upcoming events for your store or community events. Show support for local charities. If you sponsor a baseball team or you're sponsoring some sort of a cancer fund drive, these are things that you can post on your receipt so that customers know that you're connected to the community. They know that you're making a contribution, and maybe they'll be more likely to shop in your store if they think that you're doing good for the community. That's the goal anyway. All right, so next is promote an in-store loyalty program. Now, we do have a built-in loyalty program in Paladin. We also integrate with several others like Repeat Rewards, Ace Rewards. We pass up information for Do It Best and True Value as well for their different rewards programs. But this enables you to put a message on there, if you like, to promote the loyalty program and to incent your customers to join. Also, you can send customers and promote your website or your social media site like Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, if these are certain social media platforms that you use to push your business, and I do recommend that. Next, provide information that helps protect you and your company from liability issues like legal notices, manufacturer warranty messages, product warnings and notices, like handling treated wood, for example. Wear gloves and a face mask, type of thing to, again, promote safety, promote legal compliances, and then also you can do things like require signature. So those are all the different things that I've discovered that messages can do for you and how they can work to improve your store, your profit, and your customer service. So what are the different types of messages that you can do? Well, starting with the first one, which is a product level message. You can apply a message to any product or individual product or group of products and have that message appear on the receipt and also on the display to, again, prompt the cashier. So product level message might be the one I used, the example I used before of, you're selling a PVC fitting, but there's no glue or primer. You can ask them, hey, do you need some glue and primer with this, because it's the only way that you're going to connect these things together. Most of the time they're probably going to have some, and they know what they're doing, but in a lot of cases, they may not, or they just might forget that they need it. Or you can ask them, how long has it been since you used that glue? That stuff doesn't last really, like, it's got a shelf life and it might be dried out. You might be better off buying a new can for a couple of bucks and risking having to come back to the store. Also, other product level messages like prompts for extended warranty. Do you want to sign up for extended warranty on this product? We can help you there. So those are different product level messages. Receipt messages. There's all types of receipt messages that you can put on your receipts, as you know, under the Forms tab in the setup, which we will go over. You can customize your logo. Now, logo, I believe it has to be a PNG or a BMP versus a JPEG or JPG. Sorry for all the acronyms, but certain size type of logo work better than others. If you get a nice square logo and you put it into Paladin, it's going to stretch it and make it long and wide. There are certain dimensions, and I think it's something like, gosh, I'm just coming off the cuff here, but I think it's maybe 40 by 120 or something like that. It's an elongated spot to put your logo. So you want to create a logo that fits that spot the best. So you might have to do a little tweaking. We do that for you as well. We can help you with that. We've got folks in the marketing that can design your logos and do that for you for a very, very small fee. Next is you have header information that you can put on the top of the receipt, not just your address and your store name and your logo, but other information that says, you know, thanks for shopping your friendly local store or something of that nature. And then trailer lines, meaning somewhere between the bottom and the invoice message, you can put more information. Some of those trailer bylines don't show up on all of the printouts. For example, the large form, you know, the large 8.5 by 11 receipt, one of the trailer bylines do not show up on that form, but you can do some experimenting with that. On the small 3.5-inch receipt, because it's unlimited in length, you can put all kinds of information there. Footer information is also available to put on the receipt. So not only do you have stuff at the beginning that you can customize, messages in the middle somewhere that you can customize, but also at the bottom you can customize. And there are some beyond that. One is the invoice title or description. Do you know that that word invoice on your receipt can be changed to anything that you want? You can make it say paid, receipt, ticket. It can say anything you want. But if you don't put anything there, it just defaults to invoice. So we can show you how to do that. Next, we can do signature messages, so messages that require a signature as well. And that's something that that I can show you how to set up. It's based on a class of an item, and you can have a certain message appear both on the invoice screen, on the receipt, as well as on the signature capture pad screen. And then tax-exempt message as well we can put in there. All right, we'll just continue here. The next is how to set up the product level messages. So very simple to do. One is you go to the inventory module and you look at a display item, and I've got an excerpt of one here that shows just the top right-hand corner of an actual inventory item. It's the liquid nails. And I put a silly little message here that says, you know, wash with soap and water. That is something that not only will appear at the checkout to the cashier, but it also appears on the receipt underneath this particular item. So if we look at this on the receipt, we've got your, you know, in our case, we've got Paladin Data Corp, our address. It's got a description of the item, and below it says wash with soap and water, and it will put it right there underneath the item. So to do that, very simple. Inventory module, click on the General tab. In the item information pane, there's an auto text box. Fill in whatever message you want, and then click Save or F12, and that will save it in there. Now, there's a bonus here. There's a new feature coming out. This one I am so happy to see. As you know, in the inventory module, if we go back to the inventory screen here, you'll see on this screen there is a spot for under liquid nails for a description number 2. Currently, that shows up on the receipt, but it does not show up on the invoice for the cashier to see. So as a bonus, in our future version of Paladin, we've created a space, tight space underneath description 1 for description 2, and that appears on the invoice screen, so that things like, you know, do you want PVC glue and primer on this, or, you know, wash with soap and water, instead of jumping down, you'll notice on the receipt down here, on the receipt it says wash with soap and water. If it were description 2, it would be tight right underneath liquid nails. So it would tighten up that invoice a little bit. That receipt would be smaller if you had it in the description 2 spot. There is a limitation of 28 characters in that description 2 field, but oftentimes that is a good answer. So that is a bonus item that you will see in the next version of software that that's delivered to you. So how to set up a receipt message. Now this is the Forms tab that I was speaking of. If you go to Paladin Configuration under the Setup window, click the Forms tab, enter the following information. So you've got multiple areas here where you can see it's Advanced Byline 1, Byline 2, company name. Your address and information is down further below where it says, make the same as above as a mailing address. You've got your phone number. Now, fax number doesn't appear on the receipt. And then you've got a trailer byline 1, a trailer byline 2, and it was the trailer byline that does not appear on the big form, and I'm not sure if I think it's just the trailer byline 2 that doesn't appear on the big form. I could be wrong, but it's one of them doesn't appear on that big form. The footer line, you have up to 4 different sections, so it has footer line 1 through 4. We got a request to put a lot of text on a receipt. Somebody wanted to put information there that just covered a large spectrum of information, and we enabled that. So you've got, I think, over 1,000 characters between the four footer lines to put there, so you can put any type of information that you wish in there. Also, the logo. So further on down this list, well, let's look at the receipt here. I've got it set up to display the receipt here. So the information at the top is, of course, your store name. Thanks for shopping was other information that was contained in that header message. We've got our address, store name again, and actually hardware. That hardware is a logo name. And then below that, we have at the very bottom, we've got your receipt guarantees, no hassle returns within 30 days of purchase, and then the word invoice. Again, that word invoice can be changed to receipt, ticket, anything you like. Now, below that, we actually have, and here's where it's done, by the way. It's further down on that Forms tab. You'll see invoice receipt description. That will be blank. It won't say invoice, it'll be blank, but you can put any word there that you want to show up on that receipt. And most commonly, it's either invoice, receipt, or paid, or something of that nature. Okay? Following that, we have an opportunity to put a QR code in here. Now, a QR code can, when scanned with a smartphone, can direct your customers to a specific sale, a specific website, a specific Facebook page. You can determine what that is. Now, below that, if you elect to put in a QR code, you have 4 more lines. They're QR messages. 2 of those message lines, message number 1 and 2, appear above the QR code, and message 3 and 4 appear below the QR code. So just more information that you can put on and to customize your receipt. And you can see the logo above the QR code is Hometown Hardware, and that logo is designed nicely for that elongated, kind of wide and short space you have there. All right, let's continue. How to set up signature message by class. So we have an opportunity where you can define a class, any number that you wish, and you can put any information to appear on the receipt when an item is sold with that particular class. So maybe guns, maybe spray paint, maybe gunpowder. If you're in pharmacy, obviously it's going to be other items. Now in pharmacy, you've actually got this set up for pseudoephedrine already under the pharmacy tab, but we've enabled this same type of classification notes for other things other than just pharmacy items, and that's why we have it here. Now this information can appear both on the receipt and also on the signature pad if a signature is required. So it would actually come up and say, hey, you need to sign here, and and here's the information and that's the first box. Second box just puts it on the receipt and doesn't put it on that signature display pad. So to do it, Paladin Configuration Setup, click on the Company tab. So it's under the Company tab. Go down to where it says Signature Required and Receipt Text. Enable it by clicking on the Enable box and then going ahead and putting in the class. You know, you've already have to have created a class called, in my case, ID number 2222. But you can call it, you can name it anything you like and put whatever ID is open and available. And then just fill out the information. And now what you'll need to do is go into the inventory, identify those items that you want to prompt this message to appear, and assign a class, either the class number 1, 2, or 3, to all those items. And then anytime that item is sold, like spray paint, gunpowder, guns, what have you, it will prompt this message to appear. That's all. That's all there is to it. How to set tax exempt. This is our last message, and that is done here at the Paladin Configuration Setup window, and then you click on the Tax tab. There is a spot there for tax exemption. You can just need to enable it and then put in whatever information you want in there. So what this does is any time an item is sold where tax is not collected, it's going to print this. And or, although I'm not sure if this one, yeah, this just appears on the receipt. Doesn't just appear on the display window. And there's another area where you can actually require a signature for tax exempt. That's in a different area. So you can require signature as well as put this information on the receipt. So for all of those farmers and others that are claiming tax exempt, you can put a message, you know, recommendation of your attorney or what have you, to appear on the receipt, so there's no ambiguity of who's paying taxes or who's not paying taxes. All right, so that covers that area. As far as learning more, I mentioned this was going to be a short presentation. It's been about 20 minutes or so, so we're just close to wrap up here. There are some additional messages or additional knowledge-based articles that you can go and search through. They're printed here for you. Again, this webinar as well as this presentation will be posted on our portal website under webinars, portal.paladinpos.com/webinars. It will be posted there in the next couple of days. You'll be able to see it. Now, next week's seminar, very excited to mention that next week on Tuesday, February 7th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, we are having an interview with one of our stores, and the title of the presentation is a 400% increase in sales. Now that's Kentucky Magic. Description is, when Jeff Harper purchased Farmers Hardware in Russellville, Kentucky, the store's best year was $400K. In his first 12 months as the owner, Jeff was able to increase sales by over 400%. How did he do it? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to listen to a live interview where one of our techs will be interviewing Jeff to figure out how this is done. Now, he does have the Paladin system, but this is something that he did above and beyond what technology can bring him or has brought him, and it's probably really good information. You should attend. If not, watch the webinar after. Now, I'm done. I don't see any questions, so unless we have any questions, I'll just wrap up here, and I'll be looking at the question box. But there is a quick survey after this of like 4 small questions. If you wouldn't mind answering those, we'd appreciate it. Again, you can review this presentation anytime in the future. You can, you know, force your staff to watch it or spouse or what have you if you find it valuable. I mentioned when the next webinar is, and last thing to do is just thank you all for your participation. I think I see a question here. Let me see if I can open this up. Can you set up more than one class receipt message? No, not currently. But you can use one to show on the display. That one also shows on the receipt. then you can have one show just on the receipt, not on the display. So I guess the answer to that question is, yeah, you can have two. So if you notice back on that screen, let me go here real quick. If you notice back on this screen here, we have two right here. One was enabled for signature required. That appears both on the receipt and on the signature capture device. The receipt text is a whole separate one, and that appears on the receipt alone, not on the signature capture pad, and it does not require a receipt for that particular message. So you can have two kind of different results, but yes, you can do that. Let's see, are there any additional questions? I'm going to bring this over to a different display here because I'm having limited viewing here. So, can we change the image that displays on a signature capture pad? Yes, we can. We can do that. It does require customer service to go in and add that to your signature capture device, but depending on which device you have, because it does matter, in the case of the Ingenico, the current Ingenico, both the EMV and the non-EMV Ingenicos have the ability to put a image on there other than what's standard, which is the Paladin logo. So we can put your customized logo there. There are some specific requirements, and sometimes when an update appears and it changes the version of what's on that Ingenico device, it can overwrite that. So it may need to be set up again in the future if that's the case. But yes, contact customer service. They can do it for you. I don't know if there's a fee for it, but I know that it's possible to do. I don't see any more questions. So again, thank you all so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We're going to terminate at this time, and we hope to see you next week. Have a great day.